Now, I have no idea how I did this. Over the past month or so, I have put multiple guests on trophy-sized catfish. And when I say trophy-sized catfish, I'm talking anything over 36 inches, which is considered a trophy fish in the Tennessee Angler Recognition Program. That is about a 30-pound catfish. Now, I do know some of you don't consider like a 30-pound catfish a trophy fish, and a 50-pounder is questionable. There's very few people that are like that. I know like the majority of people haven't caught anything over 10 pounds. I had a buddy, he caught an 8-pounder in his boat when I was in his boat with my gear, and that was the biggest catfish he had ever caught. And then we pulled in a 30-pounder, and he was just speechless. I think it's pretty much a fact that 30-pound catfish are rare, especially in my waters. If I want to get something 30 pounds or greater, or kind of guarantee something 30 pounds or greater, a trophy fish, I have to go south. I have to go below Watts Bar Dam. I've got to go all the way down to Guntersville. I got to go to Wheeler. I'd have to go to the James River. And even then, you're still not guaranteed something over 30 pounds. And I will admit, 2 of these trips were actual trophy trips below Watts Bar Dam. Now, the first one is a nice blue that a regular caught. They have booked me multiple times, and we just got incredibly lucky getting this nice blue catfish. And they've booked several times. I think I did get them a trophy-sized drum in the past, but no trophy-sized catfish. And when I'm saying lucky, I am actually meaning that. I could be like a regular guide and say I helped them catch that catfish because I'm a professional. No. I was incredibly lucky because that was in my local waterway. Now, the second fish, a flathead catfish, was also in my local waterway. And that is a beautiful, beautiful fish. I am glad I was able to get them on a trophy flathead. In fact, this is another person who has booked me multiple times. Last year, I was able to put them on a trophy-sized blue. And of course, that trophy-sized blue was below Watts Bar Dam. Gotta go south to get the big fish. That's definitely not the best advertisement for my guide service because I like fishing local, but hopefully over time we will see bigger fish. Now this next fish, this nice blue, was caught on a trophy trip below Watts Bar Dam. In fact, they had such a good time on that trip, they immediately booked another trip. And that trip actually happened today. And that's the last fish I'm going to show you on this because it was like 2 weeks ago, maybe 3 weeks ago, that we caught a whole bunch of fish and then that trophy fish. And then literally the day after that fish, this flathead was caught on a meat trip. Now, this flathead was released. I was actually looking for where the catfish were. So I was dragging, and then it just smashed the bait. And the first fish we caught was a trophy flathead. We released it, we continued on with the dragging, and then I found the fish. I got a peck here, a peck, a peck, a peck, a peck. So we stopped and put out jugs and caught 26 channel catfish. Any one of you that actually, follow my channel or are subscribed have already heard me talk about these channel catfish. I guess I'm a little bit proud of doing it because these were brand new jugs, and I was able to put a client on a nice fish fry in a lake that was clean. Now that flathead might have been clean as well. Flatheads sometimes don't really travel far, but there is a possibility it did travel far, which means it would have came out of Fort Loudon. So anything big on Tellico, or say what lake it is on Tellico. If it's a big catfish on Tellico, it's probably swam from Fort Loudon, and I would not even think about eating it. You only want to eat the small ones. And I wouldn't just go out there. If there's 100 of you wanting to go out there and catch, catfish, then Tellico won't have any catfish left. It is kind of sad that it's the only lake around here where you can eat. And I will say, someone is eating catfish below Watts Bar Dam, and that just blows my mind because all the catfish that I've been catching have sores on them, and I think the sores are from the water that came down from the hurricane. All of that sediment, all of that waste and stuff went into Fort Loudon, went into Douglas, went into Fort Loudon, went into Watts Bar, went into, continuing downstream, putting sores all over the catfish. And someone's eating the catfish. There were some trophy-sized catfish that we saw at the ramp that had been cut up. So I don't do that. I mean, unless you like eating arsenic, don't do that. Now, this next fish, like I said, was the rebooked client, a nice blue. He brought his friend this time, and this was actually more difficult than last time. Last time we caught a ton of fish, and multiple fish were close to being trophy size. But this time it was a struggle, but we eventually did get a trophy fish. It also means that I'm probably not going to take anybody there for trophy fishing now because the bite is starting to slow down. The water's 65 degrees. It's only a few more degrees before, they start getting into the mood to spawn, and all the big ones will just vanish. So that means my trophy trips are probably going to be shut down. I'm not going to do them until maybe fall, and I might reduce the price in fall because I don't know how well the trophy trips will do in the fall time. We're just have to find out when we get there. And I probably will do YouTube videos first to see if I can get some big fish before I put up, the trophy trip again. Now, I might rename it to like an all-day trip, but it's also summertime coming. And who wants to be in 90-degree weather for 4 hours? 4 hours in the morning, it's nice and cool, and then if you book the full day trip, well, you got 4 more hours in the 90-degree weather. And most of the time, and I've already started seeing it happen, is as soon as the sun comes up and starts getting higher in the sky and it starts getting warm, everything shuts down. The catfish bite is super slow, and I don't see things jumping around me. It's turning fish off because, it is getting warmer, it's getting summertime. But yeah, I just wanted to put together this short video about how incredibly lucky I have been with multiple trips in the past month. I've never really done this before. It's just somehow I got incredibly lucky, and I hope the luck streak continues. Although we do have the spawn coming up. So we'll see what happens. I am actually wanting to try to catch the smallest catfish possible, but that's not going to be until like August. I've done it before in the past on my YouTube channel where I've tried to catch the smallest baby blue possible. And I caught some blues that were like that big on purpose. So I might do that sometime in the future after the spawn. But I like catching all fish. My favorite is obviously, like anyone else, is catching the big ones, but just being on the water and pulling in a bluegill into the boat, that's fun. And I wouldn't mind taking people bluegill fishing. My mixed bag trips were really popular last summer. When the catfish start shutting down and you're only catching like 2-pounders, it's better to go after a 5 to 10 to 30-pound drum, striper, whatever, than it is to catch like a 2-pound catfish. And catching those on 6-pound to 12-pound line is even more fun. So if interested in a mixed bag trip or a striped bass trip, let me know. Check out my website, tnrvg.com. And I'm probably going to be doing some work to my page, changing some things around. I really need to have like a paragraph about like trophy fish and talk about the trophy fish. And I'll probably use these 5 pictures I just showed you guys just to say, that every now and then I offer actual trophy trips during certain times of year. But for the most part, some or really, most of these pictures were just normal trips, which I'm always trying to get big fish in the boat, and if we catch a big fish on a normal trip, it stays a normal trip. I don't do an upcharge. The only reason why I do an upcharge for a trophy trip is because I'm driving south, and that does take a little bit of extra gas, and I don't like that ramp, honestly. I don't like the ramps down south, some of them. Anyway, it's been a good month, and as always, I want to thank you for taking your time out of your day to actually watch my video. I really, really appreciate it. I did forget one thing. Most of these fish were actually caught while I still had a day job and was only doing weekend trips. And when you're doing weekend trips, well, 4 trips is an entire month. And now I have 5 trophy fish in like a month's time. What do you think? Leave a comment below. Thanks again for watching. I hope to see you next time.